Today I'd like to share all of the things that I've made for Halloween. So up front, I want to start with my Pennywise costume because it's my favorite thing that I've ever made. So here it is. It started off, it was going to be one piece. It was like going to be a jumpsuit, but I decided to make it separates. So I think that just helped me in terms of staying motivated because I could feel like the top was completed and then I did the pants separate. So it felt like the project was keeping momentum. All of my fabric was from Fabricland. I think when I came across this foil kind of pleated fabric, I was like, oh my gosh, it was speaking Pennywise to me. And I think this was the first fabric that I found and it went from there. This was just a plain gray and then the white with the organza for the collar. The pom-poms were a mix of organza and just some kind of red cotton mixed in. So this has buttons in the back. Got a little peplum. And I remember when I was making it, having the organza as the first layer, but then taking it all apart and realizing it would look better with the organza on the top. And now, over time, I've worn this a couple of times. I wear it for Halloween for shelling out for the kids, giving candies out for the kids. And then I wear it to work. I wore this an entire day at the gym. That was crazy. It was hot, but I had got so many good compliments on it. But what I would do when I would wear it is I would spray paint my hair orange. And so a lot of that has rubbed off around the collar. So this is a can of hairspray from Party City. It was enough for one application with like a little bit left over. So I've worn this twice. So I've had 2 cans. And if I were to wear it again and use the spray, I'd definitely probably need another can to cover my hair. So maybe next time I would wear a wig because the spray ended up on the white collar, which was not ideal. So these are the pants, and I left some organza at the bottom to fray. I wanted that like deconstructed frayed kind of look. And I have extra tulle inside of here to make them kind of puff out a little bit more, as well as in the top of the sleeve to make it kind of puff out. So I made 5 of these. I made 3 for the front, and then I made 1 for each shoe. And I was wearing my Steve Madden black high heel boots, and then I just put a pom-pom on each boot. The pom-poms are they have a felt circle in the back, and then they were just safety pinned on. So I remember when I had just finished making Pennywise and I had come home from work one day, there had been a repairman at our house and he had to come into this room. And so he saw the costume hanging on the back of the door and he told my mom, he was like, oh my gosh, like that is so amazing. And he was kind of like gushing about it. So that was just like a really good compliment. It felt really good to have someone compliment my work like that. Yeah. So next I want to talk about what's on the mannequin here. This is a skirt that I made several years ago, and what was really cool about it, I thought it was pretty clever, was that the outside layer, it's a high-low skirt, and the outside layer had one kind of black fabric with orange pumpkins, and then on the inside it was the same pumpkins but like orange on orange. So that was, I think, a really cool effect because you see through to that lining layer, which is like the same pumpkins in a different color. For the top, I purchased this black bodycon top from Amazon, as well as this Obi black belt from Amazon. And I wore this with a witch hat, which I can't find. I was going to put it on the mannequin to show you for this video. I do have a picture of it. I'll put that up. But in my effort to be organized, I've stored it somewhere safe. And this might be my favorite thing in the entire world. These are my black Air Jordan emo boots. I think they're called Brooklyn. And when I saw them online, like I just had to have them, like, and I didn't care. They were kind of expensive, but like I didn't care the cost. I was like, have to have those. And they have these boot extenders that can attach on to make them even higher and look really cool. And when I wore this outfit, I did wear the boot extenders. These are so fun. And they're like a platform. I actually have a lot of different outfits in mind too to make and to wear with my Air Jordan boots. So don't be surprised if you see them again in the future. Okay, so next we're going to talk about my collection, my mini collection of 3 pumpkin dresses. And this just started out as a little fun sketch I did on my poupée animation. It's a little animated doll kind of character that I dress up. So it started out that way, and then I made the more fashion illustration style sketch that I will also show on the screen. This was the first one of the 3 that I made. And the funny story behind this was actually I made it during the pandemic, during lockdown, because I was laid off of work as a personal trainer. The gym had closed and I was laid off, so I had a lot of time for sewing. And I thought to myself, what can I make? Because the thing about Fabricland or our fabric stores around here was, do you remember the period of time when things were just curbside pickup? So I went on their website, but they were like, things were subject to change if they didn't have, you could order fabric, but if they didn't have it, they could just like apparently like substitute whatever they wanted. So I thought that's weird. Like, what if I want a specific print? So I thought, okay, I'll just do orange. Like how wrong can you go with like a plain color? So I ordered the orange and the green broadcloth and went and picked it up. And this is what I made at that time. And this one in the back has button closures all the way down. And they're a cute little like flower kind of button. So that was pretty cute. So this is the style of pumpkin face. I pretty much always make some kind of variation of this when I'm carving a jack-o'-lantern. So I do triangle eyes and I do some kind of like jaggedy, scary kind of mouth. That's my go-to style for carving pumpkins. And so that's why this is the face that ended up on my designs. And these are the boots that I wore with the pumpkin dresses. They were from Aldo and they're kind of cool, a little punk rock with the chains. So for Halloween, I thought it was really cool. So originally I drew the fashion sketches and I just randomly drew pink hair and blue hair and purple hair. And I came across these wigs that I wear with the outfits like later. The pink one, I thought, wow, this really actually looks like what I've drawn. Except when I got it, the pink was pretty different, which is fine. The style still looks pretty close to what I drew, which I thought was kind of cool. So when it was time to make the second pumpkin outfit, I had to reorder more orange fabric and from the curbside pickup like I described. It turned out that they were different shades of orange. So I don't know if you can see, but this one was lighter and then this is a little darker. So the second and the third one actually turned out in a little bit darker orange, which it's like very slight. You probably can't tell, but I could tell. And I was just like, remember I said, how much can you screw up orange? Well, it turns out you could actually kind of screw it up a little bit. So there you go. But this is the second look that I made. And it's a little, I didn't want them all to be with the pumpkin face, like taking up the whole thing. So the little pumpkin up in the corner I thought was cool. And my favorite thing about this is how the sleeve turned out. And it's called a lantern sleeve because I think that they all turned out pretty much like the sketch. And this was kind of like when I was working on this is what I most wanted to turn out exactly like the sketch would, which I felt like it did. This one in the back has an exposed zipper. And I thought that's kind of cool because like black and orange, like Halloween, right? This is the third pumpkin that I made, pumpkin dress, and they all have the same body, but the sleeves were kind of what were different. So this is, I believe, what is called a bishop sleeve. So really full here. It's got the tie, which I thought was pretty cool. This face was harder to sew, obviously, applique on. I had to go around all of those corners. And this has a little placket in the back with black buttons. Again, I wanted to bring in a hint of black for Halloween, black and orange. I don't know if I would say I have a favorite dress, but I have favorite things about each one. So the first one, the face is my favorite. The second one, the lantern sleeve. And this one, the bishop sleeve as well, is my favorite thing about this dress. And I really like the collection as a whole, how it turned out. Oh, and I almost forgot to talk about it, but the pumpkin number 3, this is the same pattern I used to make a fashion dress like right after because I really liked the pattern and I thought, oh, this would actually be cute in just like everyday fabric. So this was from one of my favorite fabric stores, which is since closed. I'm really sad, called Downtown Fabrics, and the lace sleeve, which was really cool. And I'll put a video of me wearing this outfit. Be cool to make it in summer fabric, I think, as well. I was really feeling fall vibes at the time, obviously Halloween and fall, but this could be cool in spring and summer fabric, I think, too. Maybe I'll do that one day. This is a cheetah suit that I made one year for Halloween. There's a tail that's really long, and it's a one-piece suit, and it zips down the front, and It has, I think the pattern has boots you can make, but I just wore my Uggs. And I purchased a leopard print cat ear headband from Spirit Halloween that year. So last up, I have this Princess Peach costume I made, and actually the pattern was from a Cinderella pattern. So I realized that Princess Peach and Cinderella just basically have the same dress. It's just that Princess Peach is pink. So I made these peplums. I don't know if you can see, but this was really cool tulle because it was pink with like sparkles on top. So that was really nice to have it around the neckline here as well. I remember the year that I made this, I was sewing like right up into the last minute. And I had to get my dad to carve the pumpkin that year. He had to help me because I was so behind that I didn't have time to carve my pumpkin. But I wore this to hand out candies, and not a lot of kids come anymore on my street. So I had a whole setup. I set up my old Super Nintendo by the front door, and I played some old school Super Mario World while I waited for kids to ring the bell and come by and to give them candies. At the time, I made a paper crown, which I glued on like the fire flower and the Super Mario star. But since then, I have this crown, which if I ever wear this again or make another peach, I could wear this crown. I bought this for making Big Boo but Make It fashion, or like Boette, and I wore that with that outfit, which I would also like to make again. I think that I could do a better job. I mean, that was fine, and it was from a commercial pattern that I bought, but I really think I could do it up even more. And like this one I would really like to make again is the Big Boo or Boette. For Halloween, I've also made Link one year and Princess Zelda. I have this picture I really like of me standing by a tree, and I was imagining I was Link shaking the tree looking for rupees. And then I have a picture of me wearing the Princess Zelda, like threatening a pumpkin, because you know how in Zelda you smash the pumpkins, right? And I don't know where that sword is. Actually, I want to make a She-Ra outfit because Masters of the Universe movie is coming out with He-Man. And I was thinking, oh, but I don't have a sword. And I was like, but I do have a sword. It's from my Zelda costume, but like, where is it? So I've been looking, but I haven't found it yet. I've yet to find it. So we'll see. I want to make the She-Ra and hopefully I can find my sword. But yeah, I want to do another whole video about the Zelda because I heard there might be a live action Zelda movie coming out next year. That's going to be pretty cool, and I definitely want to make a lot of stuff for that. All right, so I haven't decided what I'm going to be for Halloween this coming year. Around the summer is when I really start to think about it and start to plan out what I'm going to make. If you have any ideas, let me know in the comments. Any suggestions for what I could be for Halloween. Some ideas that I have are Little Red Riding Hood with a big red cape. I've always wanted to be the Queen of Hearts. I think that could be pretty cool. But this is probably all stuff I'll make anyways. Like I want to do a whole Alice in Wonderland collection at some point. One year, just remembered, one year I was Alice for Halloween. Where's that? Okay, so this is my Alice in Wonderland costume. It was Dark Alice. So this is a bow that tied around the waist, and this is all squished now, but it was like a necktie. And it's got a little frill at the bottom. And I had this Cheshire cat that I carried all around with me. And as I was just getting him off the shelf, I just had a huge fabric avalanche because he was on top of my fabric shelf. And when I grabbed him, I'll show you, the whole thing came tumbling down. So now I have some cleaning to do. Fabric avalanche. My Cheshire cat was from the Disney store. We don't have that anymore, I don't think. But I heard that maybe they're going to be bringing it back. Just to recap, the high-low skirt is a very easy Vogue pattern, and I will look that up and get that in the description for you. The Pennywise was my own design, self-drafted and made, as well as the pumpkin collection. Those were all designed by me and pattern drafted by me. The Chetah is I believe McCall's pattern. I will get that in the description. And the Princess Peach is a simplicity pattern intended for Cinderella, but I made it Princess Peach. Okay, yeah, so like I was saying, let me know in the comments what you think I should be this year for Halloween. Thank you.